I'm in a hospital room, a big, bright one. It's 2018 in Halifax, Canada. I'm sitting in a chair next to the bed where my mom is. She's awake, she's alert. There's a grey curtain pulled around the bed to give her some privacy. Mom has just been diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. She's in this hospital because the cancer is so advanced. I'm still in shock. I can barely keep up with what the doctors are telling me. But what I understand in this moment is that the cancer has caused the space around her lungs to fill with fluid. And that fluid is making it hard for her to breathe. So I'm sitting next to the bed and these two residents are explaining the procedure. They're going to cut a little incision in her left side and insert a tube into her lung cavity to slowly suck out all the cancerous fluid there. They turn Mom onto her right side so she's facing me, and we hold hands tightly. We're just looking into each other's eyes the entire time, locked in this moment, connected with hands and eyes. We are somehow keeping each other steady. They apply some local anesthesia on her and make the incision. And then they push this pipe into her. I know they said it was a tube, but I'm looking at it and it feels like a pipe, like something you would see in a plumbing store. And they keep pushing this pipe in and pushing it in and pushing it in. When it feels most uncomfortable, Mom squeezes my hand really hard and squeezes her eyes shut. My own breathing has become shallow. I'm just filled with fear right now. And suddenly, I realize that Mom is searching my face as a way to understand what is happening, trying to figure out what my expression means. I have become a mirror through which she is seeing this moment. But I can't let her see the fear I'm feeling. So I give her a big smile, and I make a dumb joke about how I've decided to be a real pain in the ass for the doctors and ask them far too many questions. When the discomfort becomes too much, I say, "Just breathe, Mom. Just keep breathing. Your only job is to just keep breathing." And then it's done. This is the moment I understand what it means to love someone with cancer. This moment changed my life. Mom beat cancer that round, and in the 5 years that have passed since, she's beat it another 4 times. My mom, she's beating the odds every day she survives. You know what my mom has done in these last 5 years? Her job. She's just kept breathing. And me, every time I think about this moment, I am reminded to do my job, to bear witness in some way, to not turn away, but instead to somehow find the courage, as my mom has done, to look directly at it without flinching and despite the fear. This is Overlooked, a podcast about ovarian cancer. I'm Golda Arthur, and my mom is Teresa Arthur.
Hi, Mom. Hi, baby.
Over the last 5 years, I've recorded so many conversations that Mom and I have had since that moment.
Okay, so this is me and Mom recording from my bedroom at the end of October 2019.
And so many audio diaries that she's kept of her journey.
So I'm at the chemo center now, and everything's going okay.
On this podcast, I'm going to tell you the story of that journey with ovarian cancer. It's a story about facing cancer head-on, despite the fear. And it's a story about this overlooked and mysterious cancer itself, and why we need to advocate for ovarian health in ourselves and the people we love. Okay, so this is her hospital room, and here, dun, dun, dun. Okay. This is a video I took later that same day, after they put the pipe into her side.
Okay, I'm just lying down, because I'm just lying down. I'm not sick or anything.
My dad, brother, and cousin are all in the room with my mom.
This is all just a big prank.
No, she's lying down because she's not standing up.
Right, yeah. My mom is a relentless optimist. In difficult moments, she's always told me, it'll be fine.
So, well, there you go. She's not sick or anything, but she's just in a hospital.
Just in the hospital.
So I want to show you. So
Which she
mom
has seen.
has this little bandage here.
I'm recording this video for my sister and the rest of my family to show them the pipe and to keep them updated.
So mom has this bandage here, and out of this bandage is a hole in her side, right? And there's a pipe coming out. It's connected to the hole.
This thick, rust-colored fluid is making its way through the pipe and into a little white box, which is collecting and measuring it. And because it's attached to her, the box goes everywhere with her as she moves.
This is her fluid puppy. This is the box that follows her around. So the really good news is that she's eating, and she started with the wave of nausea today. But
it was okay. It was just a feeling
minor,
of nausea.
actually, yeah.
And I didn't throw up or anything. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, so say I love you, Essie.
Love you, baby.
There's a bunch of people to name. 3 kids, 3 kids-in-law, 7 grandkids to call her Nana.
Hopefully I should be home in the evening. So we might call you from home maybe once the kids are asleep. Baby, love you all.
Over and out.
But of course, she wasn't home that evening, and this was just the beginning. We're back after a break. Back in 2018, as both a daughter and a journalist, I dug around for information about this disease. I was desperately looking for some way to understand what this was and what my mom was up against. There just wasn't a ton of information out there about ovarian cancer at the time. Not like, say, breast cancer. Ovaries are just so much more invisible. We can't see them or feel them, and maybe that's why this cancer is often caught far too late. But in the last 5 years or so, new information has emerged, new science and technology too. So now it's time for a new understanding of our ovaries and their outsized impact on women's health. I'm making the podcast I wish I had when mom was first diagnosed. I wanted to understand ovarian cancer, to look directly at it, instead of turning away in fear. I wanted to be a better advocate for my mom, my family, and maybe even for ovaries themselves.
They say ovarian cancer is like a dandelion. You know, when you blow a dandelion and all of the little pieces of it float out. My name is Emily Chasson.
Emily Chasson was the regional director for Ovarian Cancer Canada back in 2018, and she was one of the first people I talked to after mom was diagnosed. Ovarian Cancer Canada is an advocacy organization, and it works to get funding, to raise public awareness, and to support survivors and researchers. Her image of the dandelion has stuck with me all this time. All it takes is a couple of tiny cells to spread.
It's typically, not what we envision with a tumor that is like this solid mass, which some ovarian cancers are, but most commonly they're a type that spreads very easily throughout the abdomen, and then it's very hard to mop up all of those cells.
The way this cancer spreads also makes early diagnosis difficult, and recurrence is common.
Everybody responds differently when they get diagnosed. Sometimes women will reach out directly to us right away, or they have a daughter like you, Golda, who gets online, does a little research, finds out about our organization.
Okay, so at this point, I'm wondering, why wasn't I aware of this cancer before? My own knowledge of something like breast cancer is pretty good. You know, the pink ribbon, right? But what color is the ovarian cancer ribbon? It's teal, a teal ribbon. I had to look it up.
Why don't we know more about this? Well, because unfortunately, most people that are affected by the disease, sadly, die as a result of it, and or they're very sick over quite a period of time.
Most people affected die as a result of it. I swallowed hard when I heard Emily say this. I pushed it to the back of my mind and kept listening.
So they're not out there advocating, marching on the Hill, wearing pink, doing all the things that women have done to really move forward breast cancer.
And this was the first time I heard the idea that not all cancers are created equal.
And when women used to get this in the past, because it was a cancer, as most times, it's already at stage 3, so it's already spread within the abdomen, that women would get sick. And I remember hearing like, oh, she was just like full of cancer down there, that sort of term. And no one really talked about it. Like, well, what does that mean? Like, I don't really know what that means. What kind of cancer did she have? But because people didn't talk about it, it was always just referred to as a bad cancer.
They had all these names for it. The disease that whispers, or my favorite, the silent killer. Maybe because it sneaks up on you. Or maybe because, as Emily says, no one wanted to talk about it.
It's very difficult with ovarian cancer because the reality of the disease is so, just women are so sick. We don't know about this because women are dying from it. So they're not talking about it. So I say, we need well women and men to care about this disease and give it the attention that it really deserves because it can save lives.
Well, that's my cue. The moment I made up my mind to make this show. And I have always known that if I'm going to tell the story, I need to do it with my mom. And she's been recording everything, whether she's doing chemo alone in the middle of the pandemic or taking a walk on a fall day. So I hope you'll come along to listen to this story. This audio diary is called Reflection on a Sunny Morning. Here's Teresa.
Listening to this music and sitting down in my basement and talking to people and connecting with people is such good therapy. And the sun shining through the window really makes you feel better already. Like the world can heal you. The outside world can really heal people. It's God's answer to people's prayers to get you better or to make you feel well. That's where the prayers are in all these various things, the music, the sun, the loved ones around you, your friends, family. Connecting with everybody makes you feel the blessing that come from people's prayers. Thank you, everybody, for all your prayers.
Overlooked is written and produced by me, Golda Arthur. Our associate producer is Jessica Martinez-Dios. Lissa Soep is our editor, and Eric Gomez is our sound designer and engineer. Please share this episode with someone who would like to listen as well. And leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We're a small show, and every little bit helps. And for more information about the show, check out our website, www.overlookedpod.com. First episodes are tough. There are a few people I would like to thank who have been a huge source of support and help in the making of this episode in particular. So, my heartfelt thanks to Courtney Martin, Nadia Walker, Rekha Murthy, Sally Herships, Claire Tennisketter, Antonio Regalado, Sarah Martin, Afia Hamza, Margot Brunel, and Rohan Arthur. All of these folks helped me through the wilderness of making episode 1. A special thanks also to the Women's Media Group, whose grant helped fund this episode. And of course, thank you to my family for supporting me in telling this story, and thank you for listening.